In today's video, we talk about how I made this totem. I followed the two pillars of crafting on this channel, laziness and luck. Because frankly, guys, I am not some crafter from Winnipeg who's got something to prove with the size of their miniature projects.
Okay, I'm almost done putting the finishing touches on my miniature building here. I just need to finish up the weathering, and I need to do a couple highlights, but I think that this is going to be ready for the table pretty soon.
Let's talk about the basics of this project. What is Oyumaru? Well, it's basically a Japanese mold-making material. You put it in hot water, it gets nice and pliable, and then when it cools off, it hardens, which makes it an excellent material to work with putties, such as green stuff. I know people have been using resin with it as well, and I've been experimenting with using UV resin with it, but honestly, it works the best for one-part molds or simple press molds like this in this project. What is green stuff? Well, in this case, it's neatite that I got on clearance at my local game store. This is plumber putty. They make various sorts. I've not tried out the fancier brands, but basically it's a two-part putty, and you wet your fingers and you knead two parts of it together until you get a uniform green color, and then it becomes very pliable and sticky. And this makes it a very good material for stuff like press molds like this, especially one-part ones. I'm going to tear this off before it has a chance to dry, just so you can see that it takes impressions very well. This is a delicate enough material where literally it will show you your fingerprints and anything on there. So this is what everybody used to use for sculpting miniatures before 3D sculpting became a bigger deal. And I just have the simple silicone tools here that you can use to sculpt, as well as some very nice metal tools that I've gotten over the years from clearance sales, and as well as a hobby knife, which is very important. But yeah, green stuff takes any kind of sculpting tool really well. You just have to remember to make sure you constantly wet your tools, because this stuff will stick to anything, and it will remain pliable for a very long time. It actually takes almost 12 hours to sort of dry fully to the point where you can take it out of the mold without worrying about losing any of your detail. But yeah, it's an interesting stuff to work with, so if you can get some at a good price, I would suggest you try it out and whatnot. So with this project, I just used the Japanese Oyumaru. As far as I know, it's the exact same as the more expensive stuff that's kind of branded. And here's an example of a project that I've done before that was additive sculpting from press molds. Every one of those little textures was just a green stuff that was pressed into an Oyumaru mold. In this case, I had a rough idea of what I wanted to do. My original idea was just to do Oyumaru trophies. So I was going to get a bunch of very interesting textures, like this little owl texture, which I did first, and I was just going to put the Oyumaru once it got hot and pliable, and I was just going to make little molds of all the heads, and then I was going to do like trophies. So for a puzzle, I needed trophies on the wall, and I figured it'd just be cool to do that. And I ended up doing one for an Owlbear, and that's when the idea started to hit me. I let these get cool, and once they're cool, you can kind of peel them off very carefully. Again, these work much better for one-part molds. You can do two-part molds and more complex molds like this, but as you can see, one-part molds is where Oyumaru really shines. You get all that lovely detail, and then you can just sort of press the green stuff into the mold. Sometimes adding a little bit of water helps the process. Especially, you have to wet the your fingers as you're pressing into the mold, because the Oyumaru will not stick to the green stuff. The green stuff will stick to literally everything. The green stuff won't stick to the Oyumaru, and the green stuff won't stick to parchment paper, in case you're wondering why I have a bunch of parchment paper down there. That's a lovely little tip a comment told me once. After drying, you can see that these guys have a lot of nice detail, and the End result of the green stuff is a slightly flexible, hard material, which is very good. It's really similar to the highest durability, highest detailed style material you can possibly find. So it's really high quality stuff. So that's why it's somewhat expensive and why most people use cheaper putties for projects like this. You can see here I have 2 resin-based projects that I've done before. This was kind of the idea of doing it. The one on the left is a Hearst Arts, and the one on the right is a random miniature where I made a copy of a head, and I just placed it over the mutating fountain type thing. As I was going through this, though, I decided I'm going to make some sort of totem, like maybe a warning of like what kind of animals are in the area and whatnot. And that's when I came across an amazing discovery at midnight. Bro, look how good this fit is. Like, I didn't plan this at all. Okay, so there's the Owlbear. Look how good this fit is. Look at this. There's a little owl on the back. And these dudes are going to literally fit in here freaking perfectly. And I didn't plan this at all. Like, this guy is going to fit in there like that. Like, almost a perfect fit. That's crazy. And then this guy is literally going to fit in there perfectly. Just like that. That's almost like this was, like, made. Wow, that is what you call a happy accident. Look at that. It's just, it literally fits in there like a glove. That's amazing. That's dumb luck. That's my brand of crafting. When it came to sculpting, I ended up using both additive and subtractive sculpting. Here's a good example of a video where they're just sort of using a digital tool to add strips to make a texture like a tree. So I actually just did that in real life with part of the sculpture. And then I also used just sort of subtractive sculpting, where you're basically dragging your tool down the green stuff to make the textures and sort of pushing it together to bunch it up and then making little designs like that. These two processes together made some pretty decent texture. Again, you know, I'm still new to sculpting, so any chance, I think I did a really good job on this side, especially with the little knot hole there, with the little branch protrusion. And then I probably should have just not tried to add so much little texture, but you know, we grow, we learn. In the end, I think it looked pretty dang good. And like I said, I get better every time I practice sculpting with a project like this. So eventually, I will do the big ent creature, evil tree thing that I had an idea for. And then I just sort of secured it on an extra resin copy of a secret weapons base that I had lying around, because I figured this would be just useful as like a module piece of terrain. So obviously like a map marker, something like that. So the idea of having it as like part of like a diorama and stuff. The way I run my games, I like to have my terrain very modular, so I can just put it on a map, on an existing map, or on tiles. And yeah, I filled in the little gap on the bottom with a little bit of UV resin and a little bit of glue. And there we go. As you can see, it looks great. Painted up. So you can see I did do the trick of adding a very little green on the bottom there to kind of show maybe rot a little bit. I've always been good at painting freshly cut wood. The way that I do that is I just have golden yellow, white, and then some sort of lighter brown, and I just sort of mix and match and eyeball it until it looks good. And I did an okay job on the actual custom tree trunk there. I did an okay job. I'm not gonna lie, but this thing I think looks really good with the fresh cut look of the paint job that I did. And like I said, the weirdness of the press molds actually helps in this case to make it look like what I was going for. So again, I've been very impressed with all of the crafting stuff that people from the Tabletop Crafting Guild have been doing. There's been a lot of really good stuff on YouTube about getting started with sculpting and doing all that stuff. I have been so busy with work and stuff that I haven't really done that much crafting, but I really want to get back into it. You know, it's very... it's something that's relaxing and interesting. I like making stuff that is 100% like a unique thing that's going to be on my table and no one else has it. That's just something that I like quite a bit. In any case, I hope to get some more time off during the summer so I can do some more videos and do some more live streams, maybe do some pickup games. I'm really interested in doing a lot of different stuff. And again, I'm putting the final edits on my adventure, The Abandoned City of Phenomelopolis, an amazing system-neutral thing that I did for the Indestructiboy contest, which, if you didn't check that out, when he announces the winner on his channel, I'll make sure I link that. But the guy who won made an amazing dungeon crawl, and everyone should definitely check that out. It's really great. And again, so writing stuff, doing the video stuff, which is going to just take me longer in terms of editing. And oh my god, anybody who's interested in the thrift store finds, my goodness, I have found some amazing stuff. I had the absolute best 2 days of thrifting that I have had in a very long time. I think you're going to be very excited to find out what I the people that always accuse me of lying about what I find from the thrift store, I mean, this is going to blow their minds. They're just going to outright, they're going to try to sue me for, like, fraud for posting this next internet video where I show you what I found, because it's pretty amazing, so look forward to that. And if you've done a crafting project, let me know about it in the comments below.